Welcome to the Amsterdam Founders Club podcast. Today we're speaking with Michelle Maree, the founder of the Nomad Escape, the entrepreneur network, the Inner Circle, and the visionary behind the yearly Nomad Island Fest in Madeira. She's bringing big names to her events such as Ken Honda, Daria Sudi, and Nes Daily. And today we're going to learn exactly how she built such a powerful network with strong connections that help her community and business succeed. Michelle, welcome to the Amsterdam Founders Club podcast. Great to have you.
Thank you so much, Marcel. I'm excited.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we're both a little bit tired because we're here after a week of Mind Valley in Amsterdam.
Yeah, happy. I think that we're now both in our magic. You know, we're attending another event and it's great for our networks, but we're constantly on talking to people. So it's very nice to be with an industry colleague sitting here and just exchanging stories and ideas. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, because a lot of people recognize you, of course, as the face of all of these brands and must come up to you, right?
Yes, and it's an honor, to be honest. You know, like the fact that I've been now, it's my sixth time at this event, for example, like from Mind Valley, for example. And I see now, like in the last years, I've built so much leverage and people really know me and people are literally sometimes lining up to have a chat with me. And that's a really good thing, you know. But indeed, like your social battery, sometimes it goes a little bit down. Yeah,
It goes down
yeah.
throughout the course of the 2 weeks of Mind Valley.
Yeah. But it is really wonderful. And also, like, you know, you've been at my events in Madeira Island. We met each other at another event as well. And now we're here. And it's so beautiful to be part of all these different networks, have your own network and coming together in different countries. And now I'm sitting here with you and it's the full circle. So I'm really grateful. Yeah.
You've now built all these successful businesses. What I'm really curious about is one crazy entrepreneurial story that when you say it, people are always like, wow.
A crazy entrepreneurial story. I think because of what I've built, I'm attracting a lot of people with very similar values. Like, as you know, like I focus really like on founders, but also most likely on location independent founders and people who build lifestyle businesses. And lifestyle business, how I see it is like you have your lifestyle first. For example, you would like to travel a lot or you want to be more at home with your family. The first thing you look at, that's your lifestyle. Like, what lifestyle do I want to have? And I build a business around that, right? And because of that, I attract people who are interested in that. And actually last year I was at Mind Valley. And there was a guy reaching out to me on WhatsApp. And I have a lot of people actually directly on WhatsApp reaching out to me saying like, hey, I heard about what you do and I love it. And I'm a digital nomad and I travel the world. But it's quite lonely when you build a business and it's you and your laptop. And this guy saw what I was doing and he's like, hey, I want to be part of your community. Can we meet up? And actually in that period, I was also like, my social battery was a little bit empty. And I was like, someone else. And I'm always excited to meet people, but sometimes, you know, the bucket is a bit full. So I was like, okay, I was kind. It's like, sure, we can have a chat. So I met this guy, very cute, a little bit shy guy, I would say, when I met him. But I didn't realize what he was actually doing. And he's like, oh, I really want to join your events, want to be part of your community. I was like, okay, we can discuss after the event. So then during the conference, I ended up in a talk of Ken Honda. And Ken Honda is a very famous author. He wrote 200 books about the concept of money and happiness. And he's like extremely like celebrity in Japan and internationally in the personal development industry, in the speaking industry. He's also very known. And so I was at his talk, actually, and I was listening to what he had to say. And he did shift something within me because he talks in a very beautiful way about money. And I mean, as for a lot of people, money mindset, you know, like it's a big thing, like thinking so freely about money. And if you have a business, sometimes you need to invest more than you make directly back. So I was like investing a lot in team and in systems, and I didn't get the money back directly at that point. At that time of my life, and I was like, oh, I had a little bit like pain when I was like spending money. And when I saw him and the philosophy he had, it shifted something within me. So normally when I go to conferences and stuff, I am not the person who stands in line to talk with speakers because I have a very organic way of networking. I always get connected. I always have to be like a value add. I'm not going to stand in line, hey, can you provide this to me? But when I saw Ken on stage and what he did, I was so touched that just on my personal behalf, I wanted to talk to him. But he's walked out of the conference room at the moment that I also walked out. But then I saw him standing with this guy. His name is Zen, and it happened to be the business partner of Ken, which I didn't know. I saw them together, and I walked to Zen. I'm like, Zen, are you working with Ken? And he's like, yeah. I was like, can I have a chat with Ken? He says, sure, go ahead. So there I spoke to Ken, and I just told him how much impact he made on me from my heart. And I just said something actually really weird. I told him, I was like, listen, I was watching your story. I felt something clicking within me. And it made me very emotional. Because when I looked at you, and still I'm looking at you, he's an Asian man, he's a Japanese man. My father is Asian, I'm half Indonesian, half Dutch. And when I saw him standing there, I was like, wow, he looks a bit physically like my father. And my father had a lot of issues with money and with a lot of things in general. He was suffering from alcoholism. He was addicted to drugs. So I saw him always in a lot of pain and a lot of anger and a lot of fear. And I never saw, actually very strange, like an Asian man that looked at my father, balanced, talking about money. So I told my story to him. And I was like, Ken, it sounds weird, but the only thing I want when I look at you, I just want you to sit on the edge of my bed and stroke my hair and pet me and tell me bedtime stories about money. And this man looked at me like, okay, what's wrong with this woman?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, call the police, get security. This is weird. But I had no intention. I just spoke from the heart. And I was like, thank you. And I left. And then 1 month later, Zen called me and he's like, Michelle, you have a community, right? Like, yeah, they're global, right? It's like, yeah, there's people from all around the world. Like, I work with people from 50 plus countries flying into the places where I host events. And he's like, yeah, we're very fascinated by you because we do events in Japan mostly. We want to work with you. I'm like, really? Like, they're huge, And I'm like, I do incredible things, but they're like 30 years in the game. I'm like 7 years in the game, right? And he's like, we want to work with you. And then I thought, okay, let me try something. Let me put an ultimatum. And I never thought they would say yes. And I said, okay, I do this. I give you exposure to my community, but only on one condition. And they said, what? It's like, only if Ken flies to Madeira Island to speak at Nomad Island Fest. And they said, yes. And I'm like, wow, this is huge. Because for the digital nomad events industry, let's say, they mostly have like the famous digital nomads on stage, but they're not always known in the personal development industry or in, in global business or speaking industry. And they said yes. And I'm like, wow, this is huge. And I'm like, why do they do this? And at that point, I realized like I have so much value to add because I bring so many people from different industries, countries, paths of life, levels of business together, but they all can find synergies. And the most important that they have in common is the value, collaboration, and kindness. Yeah. It's very important. So I work with, like multi-millionaires and people who exited from 20, 30 businesses to someone who literally starts out, like figuring it out, like how do I even register my business, right? Or how do I shift my mindset of like being a corporate employee to becoming a solopreneur, a freelancer, maybe becoming a founder of a company. And that's very unique. And then on a global scale. So they saw that value. And I realize now, actually already longer, but, the power of building a network, actually what you have, Marcel, with the Founders Club, when you have a network, when you have a community, when you do events, you have you're building such strong leverage because you reach so many people. Yeah. And the most impactful strategic relationships you can have is with community builders, is with network groups, and that's why we're also a great partner, right? Because you reach so many people. So me being able to be from a digital nomad where I started with a laptop and $1,000 in my bank account to now have a global business and working with people in this industry, it's like, it shows anything is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you need to be intentional and add value. That's really important. Yeah.
Yeah, interestingly, like Ken Honda, obviously like a really big name, selling 9 million copies of his books, I believe.
Correct. Yeah.
And obviously money wasn't his scarcest resource, but you were able to provide value in a different way.
Exactly. And I went for dinner with him 2 days ago. And I asked him, because he works with Success Resources. Those are all like the big names, like Tony Robbins and Robert Kiyosaki and stuff. And I'm like, why, I'm not there yet, why do you do this? And he said, Michelle, when I saw you, I knew the access that you have to people. You have a lot of value to add. You have a very kind heart, and you have the capability to work on that level. You're going to become very big. Yeah. So prepare yourself. So he's now, he pushed me in the last 3 months to write a book. I was in Japan, and he told me, he took me out multiple nights, just alone, me and my partner, to very random events. He brought us to a private magic club. I was with Ken Honda and my partner, with the 3 of us on the table, with a magician for 3 hours.
A private magic club.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
And it's like...
Literally magicians. I mean, it sounds weird. Yeah. It could be anything. But a magic club. So he brought magicians. No, it was a club and it had magicians. And a magician at our table doing magic tricks.
Yeah.
And that was such a beautiful moment because it was like fun, it was like building relationship, but at the same time networking. So in between seeing the magic tricks, making jokes and all these things, he was like, Michelle, if you want to grow this and scale this, and you're doing that already, but you need to have a platform mentality. You need to write a book. You need to have a methodology. He says, I see for you 6 international bestsellers, and you need to do it. And I started 3 years ago, like a few chapters, and I didn't continue. And when he said it, I pushed through, and in 2 months, I finished now the first draft of my book. And it's now with a few big authors in Japan. So he wants to publish it first in Japan, because he said, it is just very unique what you do, and you have a very bubbly personality, and you give hope to people that they can do it. And especially with where you're from, when I was a teenager, I was homeless to where I am now, location independent. He said, you're a story of hope. So please do that. And he brought me also 3 months ago, I was in Japan. He invited me after Nomad Island Fest when he saw what I was capable of. He said, I want to bring you to Japan. So I ended up on stage, crazy story, in front of 400 Japanese non-English speakers on this conference with a translator next to me, telling my story. And people standing ovation, and Japanese are very timid and a little bit more reserved. But he got totally crazy after seeing me and hearing my story. And then Ken came back on stage and he's like, Michelle, you have a lot of energy, right? It's like, yeah. And Nomads, you're here with your Nomads, right? Because I brought 15 people from my community. And that is the partnership that we have. I bring a lot of people to him, but he brings a lot of people and value to me. He says, you have the Nomads here, right? It's like, yeah. He says, bring them on stage. So I'm there with a group of the Nomad Escape on stage. Crazy. And he's like, oh, Michelle, you need to count down from 3 to 1 and tell your nomads to give the Japanese people energy. And I'm like, I look at him, I was like, how the F do I do that? I was like, okay, nomads, 3, 2, 1, energy. And every one of us was looking at each other, what are we doing here? And then he said, okay, run through the space. And then us 15, we run through this 400 people. Everyone wanted to touch us and get our energy. And I'm like, what is happening? So it's so beautiful when you see that you can bring different communities together. And add value. Yeah.
Different cultures.
Totally
right?
different culture. And so much fun. And that's why he's like, okay, I really want you to write a book, first in Japanese. So I wrote in English. He's going to translate it in Japanese. And then I have, hopefully there a bestseller. That's the focus. And then you can go to international markets. So it's really cool.
Do we already have a book title?
Yes, but I cannot announce it because we're working on it at the moment. Yeah.
What is the topic of the book?
The topic is basically the subtitle is from how I went from homeless to home free, building a life full of freedom, purpose, and adventure. And it shows basically like how I built this, like how I bootstrapped a global business that creates a lot of business opportunities for people around the world. And it goes deeper. Like first he said, like, okay, focus on digital nomadism, but like it's more than that. And like I had a book already, like on like how to become a digital nomad, let's say, very practical. Like how do you start, and like how can you make money online? But I went more deep into okay, what it is exactly, and from my origin story, how I started actually from growing up in a family that had very little opportunities, and actually I had no chance to end up where I am today, to becoming very reflective. Okay, like, where am I spending my time now? But I knew at a very young age, like, if I want to have something different for my life, I need to get the hell out of here, because everyone around me ends up being drug addicted, teenage mom, all these things. So in that book, I show how I shifted my mindset of like, like being in a certain location, how that affects you, and being aware of where do you need to spend your time. So what I created is a formula. It's called the triple growth formula, and everything that we do actually in the Nomad Escape and the inner circle as well, it's built around that model. Because the triple growth formula is basically a model of 3 growth levers that you need to focus on in order to grow exponentially. Because some people say you need to focus only like on your business model and how can you monetize, or your mindset, or your network. But I don't believe that's one of them, because even though you have an amazing business, but if no one knows about you, no one trusts you, you have no relationships, you're not going to get anywhere. So the model has 3 growth levers. And the first one is vision clarity. So what you can't see, you can't scale, you can't grow. It's as simple as that. Some people tell me, a lot of people who start a business tell me, yeah, I want to, just like you, I want to build a community. Probably you hear it also a lot. There's so many people who want to build communities these days. I'm like, yeah, but about what? Or what are you offering to the people? How do you really help them? And what is your vision in 5 to 10 years? How is it known? Who do you work with? People do not know that. And honestly, from the moment that I started, very, very clearly write down, what is it exactly that I want, personally and professionally, from my business to my personal life, my love life, where I live even. When I started writing that down, literally it happened. I wrote down, for example, Nas Daily, I wrote down 3 years ago, I want to work with the guy. Yeah. Now I work with him. I wrote down, I want to speak at Mind Valley stages. Last 3 years, I spoke on Mind Valley stages. So when you're intentional, you write it out, you literally get it. So I help people with that in our events and online. Then we have the network intelligence. Be very, very intentional who you spend your time with. And one connection can change the entire course of your life and business. And then experience elevation. Like you don't expand based on your goals, but based on your environment. So really think about, okay, where do I need to go? Which events? Like together we go to similar events. Do things that scare you every week. It's not going to happen if you're sitting in your living room, you have a great business model and a beautiful image. Yes, you have online businesses. Yes, you can launch online. But when people meet you, that's why I go so much to these events. They feel your energy. Yeah. And you can have the best funnels online, all these things and videos. But when people can see you, they can feel you, that is where real magic happens. So that is what I talk about in the book. And from these 3 pillars, I go very practical. So like literally, how do you monetize your network, your services? How do you set up your business incorporation? How do you do tax planning? I was frustrated, for example, when I started my journey. This was like 7, 8 years ago. I was in Australia, and I basically realized I want to keep on traveling. But how do I do that? I was a waitress, for example, in Australia, and a tour guide, and I loved it, but I was stuck in Australia, and I knew I wanted to travel Asia, and I literally Googled how to make money online. I found Facebook ads. So then I found my first clients pretty fast because I had different strategies around me, and then I was like, oh, I need to invoice these people. How do I do that? Yeah. So I was registered in the Netherlands, just like you. I called the Chamber of Commerce, where you set up a business, and I'm like, listen, I'm traveling in Australia. I'm getting clients here. How can I do that? Because I want to invoice. And I can remember the lady literally told me, and this, it was 7, 8 years ago, and probably it was less known than being location independent or digital nomad. lady literally told me, wait, ma'am, you are in Australia and you want to start making money and charging people. I was like, yes. And she reacted like this. And I hope that she's watching or listening because I'm talking to you. But it was super helpful because it made me, doing what I'm doing today. She said to me, what do you think, ma'am, that you can just travel the world, do what you want to do, and make money? If you want to register your business, you need to come back to the Netherlands and you need to register your business. I'm like, ma'am, I'm literally at the other side of the world. I just need to fill in a simple form. We have the internet. I don't know if you heard about that. Can I fill in a form? No. That conversation made me so obsessed by there should be a different way on how to build your life, how to make money, how to pay taxes, how to plan your taxes, let's say.
She described exactly your business model in that rhetorical question.
Exactly.
That is very funny.
I just got like furious,
Yeah.
at that lady. I'm like, there should be a different way. And that made me obsessed with like, how can I do it? And then a funny story, basically, if I share something this week happened about a crazy business story, and I'm going to have coffee next week with this person. When I got obsessed with setting up your business in a different way and not registering in the Netherlands, for example, like I live now in Portugal, I'm a tax resident in Portugal, but my business is in Singapore and it's totally legal and I pay almost no taxes. Because in Portugal, if you have a foreign business and you pay dividends, it's 0% tax. If you have a company in Singapore, but you don't live there, you pay only between 6 and 8% taxes. So I pay very little taxes. When I got obsessed by that concept, I literally Googled for how to set up your business in a different way for Dutch people. And I found a lady, I don't know if you know her, Esther Jacobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was really big then, right? She was like very famous. I don't know, now she's helping people writing books. But I found her then, and she was also obsessed by setting up your business differently and e-residence, for example, in Estonia. I Googled her, I found her, and I became super fan of this woman. But she was like, she had a big personal brand. I didn't have any personal brand at the time. 2 days ago, I meet a guy here who wrote a book. He heard about me, and he got introduced to me through Derek, actually my MC. And this guy, he reached out to me and he's like, "You do this event, I love it. Can I join in Madeira Islands?" Like, sure. And then he's talking to me about his book. He wrote a book, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm also writing a book." He says, "Interesting. Like, I can connect you with someone." And I told my story. He says, "She's amazing." And I'm like, "What's her name?" Esther Jacobs. I'm like, "You're kidding me. This woman pushed me actually to set up my business in a different way. And this Wednesday, I'm going to have a coffee with her." So after all these years, the whole circle comes together. So that's huge.
It's a return on the connections that is a delay, but it always comes back to you.
Exactly. And I think what you're saying is very important because what I see now, a lot of people who want to build a business or want to build a network club, for example, they want to speed up things. I see that people, when they start someone, they expect result within 1 year. But it took me years to build trust, to build leverage, with people. If I would have reached out to that woman 7 years ago, could be, but I would end up in her spam or in her inbox. Her assistant would take care of it. But now I get a warm introduction, right? And that's the most powerful actually in business. And that's also for my book, I'm writing about that, like the power of introductions in your network. And it's the best.
Yeah. Let's actually talk a little bit about what founders can do to be intentional about building their network.
Yeah.
What stood out to me when you said I was at Ken's talk, but I never go to speakers at the end of their talk.
Yes.
I know a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
Yet you get the best speakers at your events.
Yes.
How do you do that?
I think by, the law of attraction, in a way. I always realize, when these speakers are on stage, a lot of people come to them. They just get overwhelmed. And a lot of people want things from them, right? So I don't want to be in that line. But what I do, basically, when I'm in these events, I do know a lot of people that, because of the network that I've built over the years. I know a lot of people who know them. So I'm just like in that network, and I offer these people so much value that I'm actually it's inevitable that I will be introduced to those people.
Yeah.
And like I got yesterday like a huge introduction as well by me offering introductions to other people. So I'm also always, I think, like for other community builders or network builders and also founders, when you can connect people, you are basically in the highest level of business. It's sales, what you're doing, but in a very organic way. So always what I do, you know that, like when I'm walking around with you, when you're with me, and that's why a lot of people, I think, like want to hang around me. And I see that now the last week, people are like, oh, I'm going to stay close to Michelle because I want to with you and I like you. I know what you're doing and you have value to add. I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm talking, like, this is Marcel. That's the Amsterdam Founders Club. He has a big network. So I introduce people and people are super grateful for that because it can skip so many steps of the sales process or the outreach process. And that's what I do intentionally, but also really from my heart. I'm very natural connector. And even though I don't want to do it, I can't shut my mouth. I'm like automatically, when I see you and I see someone else who works with speakers like last night, I'm like, you got to chat.
Yeah.
I cannot not do this. Right? So I think for other founders, understand your superpower, unique selling points, offer a lot of value to the environment of those speakers. And yes, you can reach out as well, but it's not per se my style because I know now I'm getting more known and people are, sometimes coming out to me and they directly want something from me. Oh, do you want to speak for me? Do you want to review this? Can you mentor me? I would love to help everyone, but at a point you don't have enough time to do that. So recently there was a guy asking me actually, I want to sit next to you for 30 days. And I'm like, what are you going to do next to me 30 days? He's like, yeah, I just want to observe how you work and who you work with. I'm like, yeah, I work a lot from home as well. I travel to different events, but I work from home and sometimes from a coffee shop. So what are you going to sit next to me? Like,
was
creep.
he homeless?
Huh?
Was he homeless?
He
he
is actually, he lives with his mom, to be honest. So
maybe.
Probably it's better to live with me. But he said to me, he said, like, I admire you and I want you to mentor me. So I want to sit 30 days next to you. And I'm like, creep. I don't want to have a random guy 30 days next to me. And I knew him. He was part of my events. But how he did it, it just created like a little bit of a yuck feeling with me. Yeah. And I mentored him after that. I gave him an hour of my time and I'm like, listen, I want to help you. And he wants to be like me, a professional connector. But he has almost no network. He has no community. He has no leverage, no events. So he's not really helping people. And I was like, listen, if you would have told me, like, listen, Michelle, I think your life and what you're doing is so unique and powerful. I want to spend 30 days with you. And in those 30 days, I'm going to create killer content. Yeah. I'm gonna capture everything you're doing. I'm going to show the world what the people don't know about you because I'm not recording everything, actually. And I want to show that to the world. Give me 30 days and I will be able to show to the world that I'm going to give you these opportunities. I would have said yes. I would have given you a room in my house.
Yeah.
Right? But instead, you wanted something from me. And even though you want something from me, when you are, limited on time, could be. But then I look at like, okay, what do you have to bring to the table?
Yeah.
Right?
So, and in your example that you gave, you start out with honestly saying what you appreciate about that person you reach out to.
Yeah.
And then you go into what's in it for them.
Exactly.
And then you're asked.
Exactly. And in my case, because I am a professional, a global business connector, the first thing, that I do when I look at people is like I hear what they are working on, and I go, listen, you should chat with this person. I know that they can give you access to these other people, to whatever mentorship or whatever. So that's my biggest value add, or get exposure in my community. I can bring you clients, right? And who doesn't want that, right? Without doing sales and just in a very natural way. So I think every founder, you have probably a service, a product, or a superpower, or else you would have not been in business, in order to solve a problem. Yeah. If you don't have the intention to truly help people or solve a problem for them, it's not genuine, why you want to help people. I think business always, like was originated from like, I generally want to help people solve this and I can help you do that better or faster. I have been through it. I can help you now, and yeah.
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 So your process is really about adding value as much as you can
Yes.
and then trusting
Yeah.
that good things will come in return.
Absolutely. Absolutely. For example, a few days ago, you were at my dinner. So we did a dinner with Ken Honda. And there was a lovely lady which I like, and she got introduced to me. But she came to me and Ken, and we had a structure in dinner how we would answer questions. And it's super chill. Everyone can talk to me and Ken, but we have time management. And even though it feels very natural what we're doing, it is planned. It is like structures. It's organized. So this woman came to me, to Ken, like, Ken, I want to ask you a question. And then Ken said, okay, sure, then we can start with the questions. And then she wanted to do it directly with Ken. I was like, you can sit down, you can text me your message, and then I will organize it. And then she said, like, yeah, but Ken told me to be here in the front. I'm like, just text me and I will organize it. And she pushed a little bit. And I was like, okay, fine, be here in the front. And yes, it's smart because you will be seen if you're in front of a group. I'm always like, if you can talk in front of a group, do it because you get a lot of eyeballs. But the way she did it was a little bit forced. And then the first question that she asked Ken is like, Ken doesn't know her. Do you want to write the foreword of my book? She never wrote a book. She doesn't really have a big, exposure. And great entrepreneur, a really great lady, the sweetest heart. So no wrong word about her. But from my methodology and philosophy and strategy on like how to build strong relationships and, like add value, that's not the way to do it. So she asked in front of the whole group, Ken, can you write the foreword of my book? You put Ken on the spot. You made it awkward for him. Like, he doesn't want to say no because he doesn't want to hurt you. But he also can't say yes because he gets like thousands of messages, like on a weekly basis, people asking him for something. I was with him in Japan. He's like a celebrity.
Yeah.
So asking that while you have nothing to offer yet, you just give him more work. So then he said to her, like, I would have loved, like, I want to help you, but you need to understand I'm very busy. And I do that for friends like Michel. How did I end up becoming his friend? I gave him exposure. I brought a lot of people.
You give first, yeah.
I give.
Provide
I never
value.
asked him for money. I never asked anything. And as a smaller company, you're like, oh my God, is this smart? Like you spend money, you put the time, do you get it back? But when these guys see that, your intention, and that you can deliver what you talk about, then sky is the limit.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah.
What I see you do obviously very well, and some other super connectors, is like making quick introductions between two people who should know each other.
Yes.
What I also see at my events that a lot of people are not doing that.
Yes.
And it looks kind of simple, but is it? Do you think this is something that everyone can learn?
I do think that you can learn it up to a certain point, because if you look at it, it all comes down to listening really well to people and being genuinely interested. When you go to a network event, not even in a networking event, in business, in life and networking, when you talk to people, and you want to give them value and you want to make it a great conversation, it's actually about them, right? When people tell you, oh, this was a great conversation, what happened? Mostly they spoke all the time because people want to hear themselves, right? So when you, in networking, for example, instead of like, let's say we shake hands, I'm Michelle, and I directly like, Michelle, I am the founder of the Nomad Marcel. Nice to meet you. My name is Michelle. I'm the founder of Nomad Escape. I do this, and I keep on talking for 20 minutes. You zoom out. You're like, okay, this woman is only talking about herself. But if I say, hey, Marcel, amazing to connect, I tell what I do very short, but we are colleagues, right? You also tell me, have a network club here. Tell me about that. Yeah. And I just like constantly ask questions, and I hear what you're doing, and I generally am interested. And I'm like, Marcel, listen, I just spoke with someone who works with like super big speakers internationally. He can help your local speakers, have global reach. you got to chat. Your eyes are like, yeah, I want to talk to this person. Let's do an intro. It is actually like I can teach that to people, but you do need to listen really well and try to understand what they're doing. And if you don't understand it, because every business model is different, you just ask like, okay, you make money with whatever, like you have an e-com business and you sell this product. I don't know. I don't understand this product. Explain me more. You're genuinely interested and you get to know them better. You're better able in the future to introduce people to them. So strategically, I can, like in a model, in a framework, I can teach you exactly that.
Yeah.
But you need to be genuinely interested. You need to be genuinely wanting to help people. Actually, that is what you need to do, and then that will flow automatically. Plus, you do need to have a kind of like a social skills.
Yeah.
If you're not a super social butterfly, if you're a little bit awkward, then it will be a little bit harder. But you can learn it. And actually, you're a great example, because I can remember when I met you, you were teaching introverts.
Yeah.
Right? To network? Was it that?
I think so. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Right? So you were more introverted before.
Yeah.
And maybe you still are.
Yeah, I would say like introvert is something that you'll always remain, like you need more alone time to recharge.
Exactly.
But I would say I was also shy, and actually organizing simple meetups and events at public venues.
Yes.
That gets rid of that real quickly, because you need to like move and navigate a group in a crowded venue to make a good event. You need to make those introductions.
Exactly.
So at first it's very awkward, right? To make your first introduction to two people at the event. At least for me it was.
Yeah.
But you get over that really quickly, and it becomes very natural just by doing it.
Exactly. So you need to practice it. It's like a muscle.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a muscle that you need to stretch. If you never do yoga, you cannot touch your knees. Like I do yoga now for multiple years. I haven't now for the last 2 weeks, so I will be stiff. But you can touch the ground. Yeah. Right? So yes, you can learn that. Absolutely. But then still, you need to be genuinely interested in people. And if you're going to make introductions with the agenda that you can do business only, then people will feel that. So it needs to be like really genuine, really from the heart. And important, you need to detach yourself from the outcome.
Yeah.
If I introduce you now, right, I'm not like in the back of my head, like, okay, Marcel will pay me for that. Like you can, because I have that business model as well. But I generally want you to connect. If I see that works, I do have, for example, lead referral agreements. Because when I do bigger deals, let's say like deals over, I have like deals over $1 million, basically, I know like that I will give you access to that. It's like, listen, Marcel, I worked really hard on building my global network. This guy will, help you really grow. Would you be okay with signing a lead referral agreement? And then we talk about a percentage of the business that I brought to you. And we sign the agreement and you just do your thing. But first, instead of like me coming to you, let's say I don't know you yet, and I come first with the agreement, like, hey, Marcel, I have this connection, sign the agreement. You're like, yeah, what is this? But we build a relationship first. We build a rapport first. And that's very important in order for people also to trust to sign that agreement.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so you give a little bit first, and you genuinely give without expecting something in return specifically from the person you give to.
Exactly.
You know that it'll come back one way or the other.
Yes.
And then when you see there's a big opportunity for one specific connection, you see if there's more. If you can do like a professional deal with an agreement.
Exactly. And that takes time. Building relationships takes time, that trust. Right?
Was it a little bit awkward for you for the first time to ask for someone to sign an agreement like that?
Yes, actually. But the biggest deal I've ever got, was a introduction for $1 million deal. That person came himself with it. And so that was very, very good and very...
He offered to pay you for the connections you were already going to make.
Yes. So he knew that I had a big network, and he knew I could get him into big corporates. Yeah. So what I do, like I do different things within my business, but let's say I know you and I know the guy who has a speaking agency, I connect you. But I do another thing where I connect people with big corporations where they think they can't get in, or they know they can't get in. Because normally if you want to pitch, let's say to Google or Apple or Microsoft, and you don't know anyone, it's pretty hard to get in there. But I have a strategy that I can help people get in there. And I did that for this guy. I have a LinkedIn strategy because I have a very strong profile. And I can reach out to people that I don't even know. But because of my profile and my leverage and my network, and my profile shows, seems that I have no interest because I am not a sales rep. I'm not a business developer. I don't work for those people. I am just a woman who has a retreat company and maybe an introduction club and all these things, but it doesn't say like, oh, I work for Marcel and I'm now introducing Marcel. I can very organically introduce people.
Yeah.
So this guy knew that I was capable of that. And he says, Michelle, I want you, I want to work with you. I'm like, okay, which companies do you want to get into? And he gave me like his top 10. And I got him in. He tried for 10 years to get into a certain company. And I got him in.
Wait, but you do like cold outreach, and then based on your personal brand and your message, you get in?
Yeah, but I don't promote that because I don't want to do that for everyone.
Yeah.
So I have like that systemized in the inner circle as an introduction network club, and it's very accessible to get in there, a membership. But then for the big deals, it's basically cold outreach. Yeah. And I'm not going to share like on video like how I exactly do that. But I know that because of my profile, you don't feel or see what I'm doing, really. And I do it in such an organic and natural way that never feels like outreach or a pitch. Because my LinkedIn is full with like inbox messages like, hi there, we are an IT company, whatever, like specializing in AI. We want to have a call. I'm like, no. I don't reply to that. But if someone comes to me like, hey, I heard from Marcel, XYZ, and I want to connect you with someone, I'm like, oh, I know a name. I know there's trust. I could be open, right? So that's kind of like what I do in a very organic way based on my network, getting people in. And it has been effective. Yeah. Has been really effective. And yeah, that's sales on the highest level. It's not bulking out 100,000 emails. It's one very targeted, high-end introduction.
Yeah, saying just the right things at the right time to the right person.
Correct.
With a strong personal brand that you built over the years.
Correct. Very beautiful summary. Yeah.
For the founders who are listening and who are not necessarily going to build a whole community or don't want to be active connectors, but they do go to networking events.
Yeah.
They pay for a ticket. They spend their time. Do you have some tips on how they can get the most out of those events?
Absolutely. First of all, talk to as many people as possible. Like still sales and business, it is a numbers game. Like to the more people you talk to, the more exposure you get. So if you don't have the strategy like I have or no personal brand, no one knows you. So if you don't talk to people, you stand in the corner. Yeah, no one knows what you're doing. And I see a lot of people, they go to the event, they don't want to talk to people. Yeah, why are you there? So try to talk to as many people as possible. And, like then introduce yourself, ask about them. Then it doesn't have to be awkward because a lot of people don't know how to pitch or position themselves or get nervous when they need to talk about themselves. But when you just shake hands, tell your name, and you ask directly, oh, what brought you here? Cool. And give a compliment. Like, I love your shirt. And, what are you working on these days? Like if you ask, oh, what do? You can do that. Sometimes feels a little bit too forced.
We've heard that question before.
Yeah, exactly.
20 times today.
Exactly, right? But what are you working on these days?
Exactly.
It's actually the same, but a little bit different formulated. So
like the first is an identity. The other one is what are you doing now?
Exactly. And you hear the most current project, so the most relevant. Or I ask sometimes, and it puts people a little bit out of the box, like, oh, Marcel, nice to meet you. What are you really passionate about? Yeah. Oh, connecting people. Oh, how do you do that? Oh, I have Amsterdam Founders Club. Cool, tell me more about that, right? So you go a little bit more in the interviewing mode.
Yeah, genuine interest.
Yeah, genuine interest. And then people ask you as well, what do you do actually? Oh, yeah, cool that you asked that. Yeah, I also do something similar. So, you can have a set of questions. So you can, for sure, you can study that. You can practice that and build that muscle. Then again, like offering value, offer the value. Like I know a person who, or oh, I could help you with this. So instead of like, like, oh yeah, I do IT services. I know that you need that. Like set up a call. It's like, no, okay, like I would love to like review what you're doing. Like no hard, no attachment, but I just really love to help you. Let's have a coffee next week.
Yeah.
Yes. And then very important, funnel people somewhere. So you're gonna set up probably like a call, or you exchange WhatsApp or LinkedIn. But if it's possible, have a funnel. So let's say maybe you have a book that you've written, or a freebie that you're giving away, or maybe you're hosting online webinars. You have something that has value for people, or in our case, if you have a community, say like, oh, by the way, I have this as well. Maybe you want to know more about this. You let them fill that in. You send them a link. They opt in, but you funnel them somewhere, or a WhatsApp group. So let's say you create a WhatsApp group for founders.
Yeah.
And everyone that you meet in that event say, oh, by the way, I have all the founders that I'm meeting here. They're joining this group because they want to be connected. Do you want to join that? So you gather them together in a group, which makes it easier for you at the end to bulk a message, to do outreach. And the beautiful thing is they met you. They know who you are, so it's not cold. So, like talk to a lot of people, be genuinely interested, offer value, and funnel people somewhere. And then the golden question, what I always say, and that helped me get a lot of business, and I learned that from one of my mentors, Darius Sudi, basically, who speaks now for the third time at Nomad Island Fest. He always asks, like, if after he offered a service or had a really great conversation with someone, like, by the way, if people say, oh my God, it's so cool what you're doing. A lot of people tell that to me because it's very unique. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. Like, based on what you heard there, do you have, like, who in your network that you really care about would be a good fit for this too? Yeah. And by asking, if I would just ask you, like, who in your network would be a good fit? Could be anyone. But who in your network that you really care about, or who someone that you really care about would love what I'm doing, or would be, really help with what I'm doing. When I ask you who you really care about, you directly think about your close circle. So you think maybe about your brother or sister or your best friend or someone in your community or a strategic partner. And then it's like, okay, can you connect me with this person? Like, sure. Then I get a super warm introduction. They know you, they love you, and they're happy to do that. So that's a next step.
Yeah, after you've already connected at the networking event,
Yeah.
provided value,
Yes.
and then how can you get even more?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it has to flow.
Yeah.
If it's a very awkward conversation, you don't energetically and value-based, you don't align, it's weird to ask, like, connect me with someone. So you need to be in a flow with a person, or you need to have offered value. So that's very important. And practicing, it will develop the muscle. And also, very important, and you can learn that by practicing, is to be fully yourself. A lot of people go to a networking event with kind of like a mask on, like very stiff. You have the business card. I did that also when I started. But, you don't make any genuine connections. You're just standing there. You're a little bit weird. No one actually gravitates towards you. Now it doesn't matter. When I have a chat with you, I'm here on the podcast, when I'm on a stage, when I'm networking, when I'm with my friends, I am literally always the same. And that's, the beauty is, like, in business, like, when you can be fully yourself, you're super relaxed. You never have to work. And people trust you, right? And you have a lot of fun by being yourself, because probably when you're with your friends, you have a lot of fun. And I see me being, like, networking now. I'm just making good friends, but strategically. And I offer a lot of value. So if you implement those and you practice with that, like, sky is the limit. And then networking becomes fun, because a lot of people get awkward. They're like, no, I don't want to go. Or they get yucky, when they hear that word. And now for me, like, we shall have this event. Oh, let's go. Let's have fun. It's for me a night out. It's not... it's not working. It's honestly just having fun and coming back with loads of opportunities. And honestly, every event I go to with this methodology, if I map it out, like, I have now a list of people. So I told that also at your event. I have like a strategic network sheet. So when I go to events every day, I have it now on my phone, I map out the interesting connections I made and I categorize them. So because when you go to networking events, and in my case, a lot, you forget who you spoke with and it just disappears in your WhatsApp. But what I do at the end of every day, I write out the names that were most valuable for me, because I meet also a lot of people. They're great, not so valuable at this point. I map out, okay, biggest value, and then I categorize them under, for example, opportunity, mentor, speaker, team member, because I'm recruiting and hiring, strategic partner, friend could be like, have fun. These categories, and I drag and drop them in a Notion sheet. And then from at the end of the event, I prioritize them and like, okay, follow up, quickly set up a call. And what I do then as well, for example, with the guy that I connected you yesterday, who is working with like a lot of global speakers, he's just like me, connector. He does a lot of events. Energetically, we flow super well. Like we feel directly like we know each other for 10 years. Okay, cool. So I knew like at this event, we need to sit. So like, hey, let's go for coffee. We did. And then I said, okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to map out in a one-pager, how can we leverage each other's networks, or what can we do together? With AI, you can do that super fast. So what I recommend everyone who's listening here or watching this to do when you meet someone that's very interesting, you can really impress them by saying like, listen, I'm going to make just a work doc for us, like to get a work in, and I'm going to map out what opportunities I see for us. There's no contract or whatever, but just let's explore. You just tell ChatGPT by speaking to it, not even typing, like, oh, I met Marcel. Marcel is the founder of Amsterdam Founders Club. He has access to these people. He does events and he has this podcast. And I see these opportunities. And ChatGPT, you know about my community as well, right? What do you see in synergies, opportunities? And now write a letter, very personally written, like, hey, Marcel, it was so great to meet you. Great personality, and I see so many opportunities for both of us. So first, what can I do for you? Da-da-da-da-da. What do I see that you can help me with? Those points. Make a nice doc, send it to them. Per person, it takes me maybe 5 minutes, but it's very intentionally, it's personal, and they want to work with me.
Yeah.
Super useful, and very easy with AI. Very easy.
Now we get to see a little bit of the back end of Michelle's networking
Yeah,
strategy.
Yeah. It's just, of course, there's a strategy and methodology behind it, because, like in my case, I systemize it in a way, but still it's genuine, because I don't, and that's also like, even though someone has a lot of value to add, if I don't really connect well with this person, if I don't feel like I could spend a lot of time with you, or it just energetically doesn't feel right, I don't do it. I also say at my events and in my network, and always that's my baseline of everything I do, I have I don't know if I can say it, asshole policy. I have a no asshole policy, excuse my French. Like, I don't work with people that are just not kind. I don't care how much money you make. If you are not kind to a waiter, to someone who you're working with, or can't look at me straight in the eyes, what are we going to spend time, even though you can bring me $1 million? I don't care. I want to have fun when I do business. I want to have shared values, and I want you to treat my people respectfully, like I do, and I would treat your people. So if you don't have that, like, I'm not going to put effort in it. Even though I've seen super famous people, I don't put any like attention to it, because I'm not going to vibe with you, so I'm not going to work with you. That's how easy it is.
Yeah. I imagine if you work with people you don't like, that also impacts how you show up, and it would eventually break you and your networking strategy.
Exactly.
Right? Because it's all about how you show up.
Exactly. And that's why I think that a lot of what I see now is that a lot of people who are in, let's say, in the regular business network events, for example, in Dubai. I was in Dubai, and I really stood out in the way how I network. I hosted network events there with masterminds, a lot of value. Like, I just, and it was even for free. People didn't, like, $5 to just show up. But during these network events, I structured it in a way for people that everyone get to know each other, even though you're not a social butterfly. I really help people there. And the way how I networked, like, people heard about that. And, a lot of people who do standard, like go to standard business networking events, they gravitated towards me. They're like, wow, it's so different what you do, and it's so kind, and it's so nice. So I see now a lot of people from the standard business networking events or industry, they're reaching out to me because they see it's so value-based and it's so relaxed, and you can be yourself, but it's also guided really well. Because when you come to my events, I always have a structure. Yeah. I don't host regular meetups. Like I put people together and you figure it out. I always have a structure in like big events and in small events. I make it easy for you to start talking to people and come out with opportunities. And I gamify that or give you a framework for that, or introduce people. And yeah, I see a shift happening. And because of that, I attract a lot at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually another thing that you seem to be doing very well. You
Yeah.
go to an event
Yeah.
and then you organize like a little side event.
Yeah.
Like a mastermind, or what's your
Yes.
favorite thing to organize?
I love the masterminds because it's like it gives a lot of value. I'm not talking all the time. Yeah. I like when people can interact. I don't believe in only the guru on the stage and you're like, wow, and you leave and you're like, okay, how am I going to implement that? What am I going to do? And you forgot about it, especially in like big conferences. Yeah, you take them notes and then you go home and you go back into work and it just disappears. But when you're actually having conversations with those people, then you actually like it's get embedded. Because if you look at the learning pyramids, you only remember 10% of what you're hearing, but you remember 90% of what you are explaining to other people and are applying. And that's my events and my experiences, and even if it's small pop-up events, are always built around that learning pyramid. How can I help people learn on the highest level and that they remember it, it's embedded, and that they actually apply it, right? And that's value. So yeah, like masterminds are really good because I put people in small groups, I facilitate it, I give them a framework, and they walk out with a plan of action. They walk out with an accountability team. They really walk out with a strategy and not just fluff.
Yeah.
Right? So I do that here at the event as well. Like I hosted a dinner with Ken Honda. People could ask questions. It was not a mastermind, but you could ask questions to Ken. I had a gamified, I had money on the table, I had Nomad coins, right? It was like, hey, you get here 10,000 Nomad coins, check around you, who's offering value? At the end of the event, it's like, okay, write a small note for that person, give it to them. And it's such a beautiful personal thing. I give you, for example, like, here you have 10,000 Nomad coins. Marcel, thank you so much for bringing, 5 people, or being always kind to me. You keep that. And it's such a cute thing that you probably don't throw it away. And people really text me, like, I have the Nomad coin and in my room. So they remember the event, they remember their takeaways, they remember me and the value that I added, and they are in touch with another person, right? Yeah. And then I have like icebreakers, I have like cards, like really weird questions sometimes. Like me and Ken were sitting next to each other, and the question I had for Ken, for example, what is the creepiest thing you've ever done when you had a crush on someone? And like, whoa, that's weird. So you create that space for people to connect personally from the heart. So yeah.
Yeah, you find ways for people to actually connect with each other rather than just the big name on the stage at the conference. Like that's the added value that you can easily provide with your side events.
Yes, absolutely. And not even the side events, with the big events that I do as well.
Yeah.
Like in the retreats, you've been to my retreat, and to Nomad Island Fest, almost everything, I think 70 to 80% is interactive.
Yeah, it's incredible how you design it. Like I've been both to your business retreat in a small group and the big Nomad Island Fest.
Yeah.
And like, especially the business retreat, like everything was co-creation.
Yeah.
There was like almost no expert to students.
Yeah.
Like we all did things in groups, and I think it made it easier to remember and to actually learn, but at the same time, you get those connections and friendships for free. Exactly.
And I created that space and that methodology based on, first, what do I like? Like, you ask people, what can I wake you up for in the middle of the night? Some people say, like a nice car or a holiday. Me, if you have a great business idea, you will make me up at 3 a.m. Michelle, I have this idea. I was like, okay, let's talk. It's my hobby, literally. So I created first the retreats around like brainstorming and masterminding and skill sharing and connecting people. But then I went to more events, and then I was annoyed by other people's events being so not interactive.
Yeah.
I just sit in the space, thousands of people around me, I take notes, and then I walk out, maybe for lunch, and then in hope that I meet the right people or I need to go actively to people. I'm fried because I was listening for hours to people, and then I actually want to eat, but then I need to then network. There's no space for networking. So I designed all these events based on what annoyed me in other events. And that's why from day one already, we help you filter out the people who are interesting for you. The first day of Nomad Island Fest, we put you speed networking. The big group, 100 people, you speak to the half, right? So the first day, you're not even 2 hours at the event, you've spoken to the first half of people. It's a lot, you hear a lot of people, but the people who stand out for you, we got to chat. Then day 2, we have an event. It's called Business Bingo. It's not a Shark Tank or pitching your thing on stage. It's generally giving everyone, because everyone is important. Everyone is an entrepreneur. And if you just start or are far in business, I don't care. But you do something, you're building something, and you need something. So based on these questions, the people come on stage, and you get the opportunity, 30 seconds, to say, hey, I'm Marcel. I'm the founder of Amsterdam Founders Club, and I'm looking for 5 strategic partners. I'm looking for a podcast editor, maybe, and I'm looking for a co-founder. I just say something, right? And then people in the audience, they have a card, a physical card, right? Like with number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they put it up. And my team is writing down, okay, who can help Marcel? Number 5, 6, 7, 8. It's kind of like a bingo.
Yeah.
So everyone in the audience can see you and can write down, oh, I'm interested in Marcel. But you directly can see also like who's interested in me. Everyone does that. So it's just like a super good filtering process, because you don't want to talk to everyone on LinkedIn as well, right? You want to filter it out.
Yeah.
So we help you through these experiences and frameworks and workshops to do that fast. And we have an event of 7 days, 6, 7 days. And it also gives enough time to get to know each other, to hang around, because we do these workshops and then you go to the beach together. You go in jeep safaris together. You have a party together. You have dinner together. You have a lunch together. So we help you at the beginning of the event to understand who is there, who's interesting for me, and then we give you the space to go into depth. And we give you the Nomad coins, give value. It's just a game, but it does help. And I get every day messages from people thanking me. Michelle, I got 13 clients out of working with you. I found a mentor. I started thinking bigger, like I was making 300K, now I make 1 million. Because of the mindset. You expose me to people that I never got access to. I thought it was like super high level. And because you're so kind and make it accessible for everyone, these big speakers feel like, hey, I want to help them, but they can offer something to me. And the people who started like, oh, wow, I can have access to these people, but I'm teaching them how to add value as well, so they don't feel used, let's say. So yeah, it's a very beautiful play field for people who want to do business but want to be themselves.
Yeah, and I can confirm that as well. Like I was at the Nomad Island Fest, and like a lot of the people in the Amsterdam Founders Club team and who go to the events, like it's a result of you, basically, of your events.
Yeah, and I'm very happy to see that. But you also, you did it so smart, because I tell people also at the beginning of the event, of my events, but any events actually, but my events specifically. This event, if you're intentional about it, this can give you a year of content, can give you testimonials, clients, partnerships, collaborations, but you need to be intentional. You did it really well. You came out with I don't know, how many people, maybe 10 people or 15 people who came to your retreat after. Your team is part of it. Now, I'm going to speak at your event again. There's people from my community speaking at your event. Now, there's people, and that's great, because people from your event will come also to Nomad Island Fest. So you are also very intentional, right? And you do it in a very respectful way. I don't feel like, oh, you're taking it away, There's a collaboration. I bring you people, you bring me people. So when you're going to an event, I always come out with content, a lot of interviews, a lot of leads, because I offer side events, I offer freebies, I offer, some help to people. So I build an email list. I come out with strategic partnerships. I come out with content. I come out with clients. Like this event also, this, at least 50 people, I think, that will go to Nomad Island Fest because I did it intentionally.
Yeah.
Right? So you can get so much out of it if you're intentional, but you do need to really do it from the heart because people will feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. Be clear about your goals, your ideal outcomes, and then you'll see the opportunities when they arise.
Absolutely. But the interesting thing is like be clear about your goals and desired outcomes, but then as well detach from the outcomes. Yeah. So don't don't push it, don't stress it. Have fun, connect with people, give them value, and then I hope that I can do something for them, and I hope that they come back to me, and you have strategies to follow up. But then it's so much fun. Yeah.
Something really powerful in what you just mentioned is you give people the opportunity to easily share what they need from the community. Yeah. And now in a natural conversation, it might not be very natural to bring up what you need. Yes. But maybe we can flip the script. Yeah. And in our conversations with people we meet, we can ask, hey, what do you need? Exactly. And that is an important question in networking. Actually, I forgot that one earlier. It's like at the end of the conversation, I also ask like, hey, is there any way how we can help you? So I add value, but then I also ask actually like, anything I can do for you? You know, I'm happy to do that introduction, or happy also to other people. Like I show my business model. Yeah. I show the behind the scenes. Like, hey, I'm happy to sit with you 10 minutes. I show you how I do it. How do I monetize it? How do I structure it? Right? And people are super happy with that. And that might prompt them as well to ask you, like, what do you need? Exactly. And that is business. Yeah. That is business, you know. And of course, you know, business needs to make you money. You should not forget, like, only walking around and giving things away, which is great. But it's inevitable, especially at the beginning. You need to give a lot in order to get, right? And you need to build leverage. You need to leverage at the end what you have. But you need to build trust. Yeah. And I think it's a really good question. Yeah. But even in personal relationships, because even if you have a good friend or your romantic partner, you have a fight, there is something, right? In a negative way, instead of having an argument. So what do you need? How can I help you? Turns it all the way around. Yeah. You create a space for a conversation and a dialogue. Yeah. Right? And in business and life, it helps a lot. It's such a powerful question. Yeah, so much. It changed my life, you know, and I'm very passionate about it, and it makes my day super fun. Even sometimes when I'm in the supermarket, you know, like standing talking with people. Even last year, funny business story. I was in the sauna in the south of the Netherlands, in Limburg, with my mom. We're in a very beautiful sauna, and they had I've never seen it, a self-driving bus to the location. I wasn't there, and it was a small space, and I started just talking with people a bit, and a guy was asking me, like, oh, yeah, where are you from? Oh, are you from here? It's like, yeah, I grew up here, but I live in Madeira. Oh, cool. So we started chatting a bit. We're going later to the sauna. We're butt naked. We're just naked, right? We're walking around there. I'm looking at this man naked. You saw him. He was at Nomad Island Fest, actually. Not naked, to be clear. Not naked? I saw the guy. I don't know if you saw Mark is his name. He's like guy from... I think you mentioned the story when I was there. Yeah. So it was so funny. So I'm like, at the end, we saw each other in the bus. And then we see each other like, hey. I ended up sitting next to him in this session where they like blowing, like, I don't know, like slapping leaves on people and like this whole thing. And I'm just sitting next to him, and we're vibing, and he's like, actually, what brings you here? And like, when do you live in Madeira? And as I tell a bit of my story, he says, it's so interesting what you do. He says, I would love to take you for a coffee. So he takes me and my mom, we're naked for a coffee. They're in a resort, or like a towel, but like, and I'm just talking so passionately about what I'm doing. And I'm like, what do you do? He says, I've been for years in sales, already 15 years. Here for a local company. He invests in stocks and stuff. I'm like, he says, but I would love to travel more. I would love to travel the world. I was like, well, with your knowledge of sales, because he does big sales for a local company, you could take this online. You could bring it global. What if? So I started helping him with ideas, and he was fascinated. So on the spot, I sell him a ticket for a private room of €3,500, naked.
to my event,
Yeah.
right? But why? Oh, maybe because I was naked. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go more to the sauna and do business. Maybe that's a good strategy. No,
It
but
might
like,
work for some people.
but yeah. Depends on your shaven side.
Yeah.
maybe. But I do believe in your energy. I was so genuinely interested in what he was doing. I was so passionate about what I was doing, and I was helping him on the spot. He bought.
Yeah.
He bought. And then also that's why I say you need to have fun. When you have fun, you radiate. So another funny story, Thomas, the big guy who does the water. He has the water company. He was with us last year in Madeira Island in Japan. He's coming back to Madeira Island. He saw me at a Tony Robbins show. There's 12,000 people, and he sees me on how I speak to people. I was doing a side event. I was hosting by accident. It was not planned. So what happened? This is a very good example of a big conference. I'm at a Tony Robbins event. 12,000 people. I loved it. But it's just like after 2 days, being 14 hours in a room, jumping, and I can't do this anymore. I want to talk to people, generally. So what I did the last 2 days of the 4-day conference, I didn't went to the conference. I went standing outside in the front of the conference, drinking coffee. Yeah. That's what I did. I just drink coffee and I just starting with people, talking to people. Within 1 hour, I had 45 people hanging around, just networking, because I created the space and so nice and kind to everyone. And then people heard what I was doing, and they asked me, "Can you put up a small event for us? Can you, what you're doing? Can you do a mini mastermind?" And I did. So in the evening in the hotel, I put up spontaneously, not planned. There was no banner or whatever, just people in the WhatsApp group on this networking event. There, I did my thing. I did the opening, and I speak very short, 5 to 10 minutes. Guys, welcome. This is how it works. And I give them my energy in like being collaborative. I put the people in groups. I go to them. It's like, hey, is everything okay? Can I help you? I facilitate. And then Thomas is sitting at a table. He was not even part of that event. He was just drinking a coffee there, or beer. It was in the evening with his business partner. And I see this guy a bit observing me. And then I put people in breakout groups. And I was on my phone, and he comes to me, he says, "I don't know who you are, but I want to work with you." I'm like, "What?" He says, "Yeah, can I chat with you?" It's like, "I'm busy now, I come to you after the event." So I do my thing, I see him observing me, I go to him, I was like, "I'm Michelle," I explain what I do a little bit. I was like, "What are you working on?" I was like, "Oh, interesting, I have people in my network potentially." He says, "But what do you offer really to people?" I'm like, "Well, I do, for example, next month, I think in Madeira Island, I have a mastermind retreat for entrepreneurs." He says, "How much is it?" And that one was like 4.5K for a private room, for example. He said, "Okay, I'll buy it." So on the spot, he doesn't see my website, he doesn't see anything. He just buys it. Why? Again, he sees me adding value. I have value to add for him, but also he sees my energy.
Yeah.
Because I have so much fun in doing what I'm doing, people gravitate towards that. If I would be there like, "Oh my God, I'm working, and like I don't want to do it and I have a low energy," you don't want to hang with those people. You want to hang with people who are passionate about things, right? And things get going.
Yeah.
And so when you have fun, when you don't have naturally, for example, you're a very outgoing person or radiant, you can have a lot of fun. And when you have a lot of fun, people will see that on your face. And they just like, "Oh, this cool person. I want to hang. Well, let's have fun, So have fun, and then you will attract what you want.
Yeah. And I think this might point to another interesting thing is that, like, at events, we always see people who gets people gravitating towards them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we have the people who are like more like gray. I don't know how do you say that? Like people do not gravitate towards them.
Yeah, correct.
And as you already mentioned, it depends a lot on your energy.
A lot.
But for those who currently go to events and they're like, "Well, people aren't gravitating towards me." I'm like, do you have any tips for them?
What I just said, just have fun and let go of the results. Let go of the outcome. Just act like you're there to make friends.
Yeah.
And when you're making those friends, just really try to help them, be friendly, be yourself, and fully relax. Because a lot of times when people don't gravitate to other people, it's because you feel again, like I use the word a lot, energetically, our subconscious or your gut feeling, what people talk about, it does tell you what the state the other person is in. It's like almost like a very primal instinct,
Yeah.
So even in the animal world, you see that, like uh, mostly the male animal, for example, if they're proud and relaxed and know what they're doing, the women gravitate towards them, and it's the same with humans, right? So when you have tensity, you're tense, you are nervous, you are stressed, like I need to get this out, or I need to make this much money. People will feel it and see it. And I can't explain that exactly, but we all have been in a situation that you feel that and you're like, rather not, right? And that's why, like, letting go of the outcome, but having a lot of fun and adding value will lead to the outcome that the intention you've set to yourself, for yourself. That and do be proactive. So if people are not coming to you, you do need to go to people, obviously, right? So you have some tricks for that. What I do, if it's harder, toilets are really good. Standing in line is really good. When you are standing either way next to someone, then use that moment, give them a compliment. Like for women, it's also like maybe easier to give compliments. I don't know if guys do that, but when I'm standing in the toilet, I'm like, oh my God, I love your dress, And I had a girl, for example, in Dubai. I stood next to her. I was like, I love your dress. She said, it's my design. It's like, are you a designer? She said, yeah. It's like, I swear to God, I was like, I really want to buy it. It was so beautiful. I was like, where can I buy it? She said, yeah, I'm a bit shy. I don't know how to put it online or whatever. It's like, you're crazy. It's like, let's come outside. I took this girl's hand. We walked outside, and on the spot, I took photos of her. I'm like, now you create a WhatsApp group. And everyone who speaks, she said, yeah, everyone comes to me, the clothes are so beautiful. Create it now, put the people in a WhatsApp group, make a payment link, let them pay. She's like, what? And I gave her value, sign up for my event. Right?
Yeah.
And I genuinely want that for her. Like I can't stop myself. That's my thing as well. Like it's too much actually. Like I give too much of my time sometimes, but I really want to help people succeed. I love that. I know when you make money, and for the first time making money online, the feeling like, wow, it's the best feeling in the world. You get confidence. And I want that for people.
So even if you don't have to go to the toilet, if you see a line?
Yeah, exactly. Like if you don't know how to go up to people, because also I don't really go so fast just up to people. If I see a space, I'm not really someone who's like walking towards like, hey, handshake, my name is Michelle.
Yeah.
I have no problems with that confidence-wise, but it's not natural, right? So I more happen to talk to someone joins, I shift the conversation, and now I know so many people that it goes easy, right? But if it's hard for you, find the lines, start talking to the person next to you, and ask for introductions as well. Like, oh, you're here with your friends. Like, yeah, I would love to meet them. Okay, now you're with a group. So multiply, what you're doing. I think that could be like a really good tip, like lines, actually.
Well, that's actually a very powerful principle to like start with one conversation.
Yeah.
And then if it shows that you're having fun, like people gravitate towards you.
Exactly.
And then you can make introductions like with the people amongst each other. Like if it's a bigger group, you can also more easily move in and out.
Exactly. Yeah. And I do think like what you said at the beginning, like it's a skill. When I was 26, I lived in Suriname, a former Dutch colony in South America. And a weird story, I ended up at 26 being the director of Senzia. That was the Caribbean Institute, the only Caribbean institute for security risk management trainings. So the Training Institute for Security, Safety, and Integrity Management. I never knew about that. I'm an educator. Like I studied education and social work and human behavior, psychology, but I didn't know about that. And these guys, they offered me the job to become the director of the Caribbean. So I flew everywhere. I was on television, all these things. because they saw me as I was a tour guide on a dolphin tour boat. I was a dolphin tour guide. So I knew how to deal with groups and people. But before that, I was 12 years a waitress. So I've been here in Amsterdam, I was a waitress. In the south of Netherlands, I was a waitress. In Suriname, I was a waitress. Being a waitress and working with groups, tour guides, waitress, I did sales here in Amsterdam on the streets. You know, the annoying people in the weekend.
Door to door.
Yeah, not door to door, but like in the street. Hey, can I ask you something?
Right. Yeah.
So awkward, right? But I did it. These jobs helped me to become so good in what I'm doing with people, because at the beginning I was also scared, but I understood like how can you easily have a conversation and be confident, because people feel it and see it in your eyes if you're a little bit scared or you don't know what to ask, or you're fully confident. Even you talk crap, actually. You're like, I don't even know what I'm talking about, but you can always have a nice conversation and make people feel seen, welcome, warm, you know, trusted, like, hey, I'm here for you. But I mean, it took me also like it's 20 years of working with people, being able now to do it so naturally, right? So if it's the network, I didn't learn it only through networking. It's like a set of experiences, and that's also what I'm all about. I tell people have as many experiences as possible. Even like if you need to, just for fun, work half a day in a restaurant, even though you're an entrepreneur or whatever, just to meet a lot of people and just to chat with people, go to a table, have a conversation. Yeah. Like, you know, tone that muscle, and then you become more fluent and natural, and then you can attract those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe for those who like aren't going to take a part-time job, they could go and set a challenge for themselves, right? I go introduce myself to 10 people at this event, like even if that feels, especially if that feels awkward for me.
Exactly. Exactly. So that is a good way to do it. And also, I mean, how you learned it. What I always say also, like the best way to learn fast and adds good value to your business and network, put up your own events. Yeah. It doesn't matter. If you have an IT business owners don't think about it because they're not in the event business space. But why are they not setting up a meetup for IT business owners? Or let's say that they, for example, set up a mini mastermind event, a marketing mastermind for IT founders or whatever, like IT business founders. What happens if you put up that event? You bring the people together that need it. Who will come to that marketing event, for example? Probably people in IT and marketers who are specialized in IT. Yeah. Bringing those together, you create business opportunities, but also you have a lot of people, I have that all the time, you have a lot of people say, thank you so much. I'm so happy that you organize this. How can I help you? Yeah. I have like a team working with me, like part of my team I pay. Part of the people I don't pay because they love so much what I'm doing and they always get clients out of it. They're like, listen, I charge normally this, but I'll help you. You know, even, you know, with Ahmed from the ads, he helps me. I'm not like I cover his room and all these things, you know, but I brought him clients. Yeah. You know, like really including good client.
Me. Like
including
I work with him now.
Right?
Yeah. And I send a lot of people to him. So
exactly.
The ripple effect
so see the ripple effect.
Yeah.
But by putting up events, you know, like you can achieve that. So event organizers, community builders are in the highest, I would say, like in the hierarchy level of business. You are the catalyst for everything coming together.
I think we both really believe and see the power of small events.
Yes, so much. Even bigger events as well, of course, like you have more reach. But the small events touches people. They have the space to really connect, to really explore a business opportunity, and we are accessible, right? So like, oh, wow, like Marcel is hosting this. Okay, there's 100 people, but you can still go to Marcel. If it will be 1,000 people, okay, it's cool if we can do that one day, but it's less accessible, right? So the power of micro events is huge.
Knowing the power of those small events, what I also see is that a lot of people, it's a big barrier for them to even organize a little dinner or a little first event. Yeah. They're worried, like, will people show up? Or like, who am I to organize this event?
Exactly.
Like, do you have any tips to make it very easy for someone, let's say, attending Mind Valley in Amsterdam now to organize their first little event?
It's so easy, to be honest. It's more a mindset thing. First of all, again, let go of the outcome. If 3 people show up, 3 people show up. That's it. But you can practice. Next time 10. After that 15. Then maybe again 3. Then 20. That's how I started.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't matter. If one person shows up, you can say it's a failure, but you have super high quality time with this person, one-on-one. You can say, okay, like, you showed up. Thank you. Listen, how can I help you? And you help this person, right? So you need to start somewhere. I understand, like, from, like reach and financial, it's not ideal, but train that muscle. So if you want to put up events, let go of the outcome. Have a value proposition. Why should people join that event? And just use an easy platform to get people on your event. So, like, for example, I used NAS.io, like the platform was NAS Daily, and that's why I work with him. I love what he built. He created such a customer experience, user experience is so good and so natural, let's say, that it makes it easy for creators, for coaches, for entrepreneurs, for community builders to, in one click, you just make an event. His software is optimized to make, like, literally in a few minutes an event. So you can just put up a banner, put up, like, the location, or maybe it's online, a description, put a price tag on it, or for free, and you have it. And it looks like a professional event.
Yeah.
There is an Eventbrite and all these platforms. Like, I try them all. I personally like NAS.io the most. It's just so simple. And you need to have a nice banner, nice Canva that, looks nice. You can let your assistant do that, or yourself, doesn't matter. And just put it out there and put it, then people also don't know maybe where to post it. But if you're at another event, there's probably already loads of WhatsApp groups. There's Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups. In these communities, you can sell like crazy. Like, I do a lot of sales through these WhatsApp groups. And it's, people could say, oh yeah, she's selling again. But why do people buy? Why do people buy a 2-hour dinner with me, 160 euros, 180 euros? It's because they know I'm going to add value. It's not just a dinner. I brought Ken Honda. I bring Alessio Pironi. And with Alessio's dinner, what we're going to do a marketing mastermind. On the spot, he's going to review your funnels. This guy scaled Mindvalley from 25 to 75 million. Who doesn't want that? Like, having a dinner for $180 is cheap. Yeah. Normally you need to pay like at least 25K to get access to him and review your funnel. There, he can do a bit. You can have, like access. But at the back end, of course, there's an upsell. Yeah. I'm like, I generally want to offer people help. I just want them to have a great night. But I know my content is so good that they want to buy more. They're like, wow, I got so much out of this. What can we do next? Oh, I have a 7-figure founders retreat. Like, he will speak there. Or Nomad Island Fest. Or have an online club. Or maybe people don't want to be part of the club. Okay, they want to buy now his services. Oh, Alessio and I have a relationship. So we have a lead referral agreement. So I had Darius, for example, hired Alessio through my event. And Alessio paid me a commission. So that is like my power of network. I bring these people together. And yeah, people are happy to do that. And so if you build it up like that and you think it well through, what can I offer? Can I value? What kind of value can I offer? Can be at the beginning a free event. Doesn't matter. I do also a lot of free events, or later a paid event. And then you have other products and services that you upsell. And if you don't sell anything, I also events that I sometimes don't sell anything, but they know me and they come back next year. Oh my God, I've been following since then. And you see the ripple effect, So it is really, technically it's very easy, but it's also the mindset. I think a lot of people have limiting beliefs that they can do it. Who am I? All these things. But you always know something more than someone else, even though you're just starting out. And if you put up your first event, you're further than a person who didn't put up an event.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, it's like, just do it.
Yeah, you don't even need to know anything more, right? You could just say, this is a dinner for 7-figure entrepreneurs. Like, you might not even be an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
but you can, the people you can meet, at the events, you can add value to them.
Exactly.
It's that easy.
Exactly. It's that easy. Yeah.
But even people automatically assume that you're then an expert for the people you organize events for, but it's not even necessarily true.
Doesn't have to at all.
Yeah.
At all.
And I think maybe to add to this, let go of the outcome, even if it's one person, I think maybe we can go a step further that you should be okay
with having no outcome.
Well, even if no one shows up.
Yes,
Be-
I never had that, but I heard people having that.
But you
Yeah.
need to be okay with that,
Yeah,
because
that's also
otherwise you're
okay.
still going to be
But
anxious.
then, to be honest, like you need to be okay with that. But then it's your lack of promotion exposure, because especially when you do free events, always someone will
Yeah,
show
we
up.
know, right? We've
Yeah.
never had an event with
True.
0 people.
But I had, for
But-
example, a girl in my community. She was kind of like, I see a lot of people, I give them confidence that they can do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, Michelle can do it, so I do it. But then they make the event, but then they don't share it enough. They post one time. Yeah, then maybe someone sees it. But I mean, marketing, from marketing, like it's proven in marketing that someone needs to see something 7 times before they buy. That's smart, like when you run ads and stuff.
Yeah, it hadn't even come to mind that like I always personally invite people when I speak to them.
Exactly. So that's the best.
Yeah.
But if you don't have that, or you have no network, or I do, even in WhatsApp groups, I sell while I'm not physically there.
Oh.
So I do that as well, right? When I'm for online events and stuff.
Yeah.
Or I have access to other networks, I post there, and then people like, yeah. So even a lot of people, like on that dinner, I didn't invite 40 people. There's people just like, from Nomad Escape community, there were like 15 people or so. The rest, I don't know. I never met them.
Yeah.
But they see me over and over again. And people say, oh my God, I see you everywhere. Yeah, fine. And you see me everywhere. But people buy. You have no exposure. People don't buy. And you're complaining. So you need to have reach. And they even have a saying, I forgot exactly, but like, even though like a person, you have 2 people, one has a better product than you, way better, but if you have more reach, you will succeed more.
Yeah.
Because you need eyeballs, you need people to see you. So if you post it in 1 or 2 times in a WhatsApp group or wherever on your own Facebook, and maybe your neighbor sees it or your mom, great, but no one is going to buy. So people need to see it over and over and over and over again. And that is where a lot of people stop. Oh yeah, I posted 2 times, no one showed up. Or I tried this for a year, it doesn't work. Yeah, all the people you see in business who succeeded, that you look up to, they didn't just succeed, they just never gave up. That's it. They pushed through where other people stopped. And that's the thing. You just need to put yourself out there and practice that muscle, train that muscle of be genuine with people, wanting to help them, and have giant exposure. Run ads, build your personal brand, be consistent in posting. People tell me as well, yeah, but I've had 3 people that only like it. Yeah, those are 3 people that at the same time 600 people saw it online. Within a half year, it's going to be more. Yeah.
And I think there's a little secret in there about how to leverage events, actually, because we're all tired of promotion in groups and everywhere, like all the direct sales.
Yes.
But if you have a high quality event, it's much more accepted to share it.
Of course.
So you get access to new channels that you wouldn't otherwise have.
Exactly. And even for other event organizers, they actually like it. Because, for example, like when you are in my event and you want to host, let's say, Nomad Island Fest, a dinner for Amsterdam Founders Club, please do that. I offer a lot of value for people who want to go to Amsterdam, and we could have a lead referral agreement. You could, I was like, okay, I'm going to put this together, but what if I take a commission? I will promote it now, right? So that's why I do like that people put up their own events in my events. Actually, I also I'm not shifting, but I want to focus actually more on community leaders. Because community leaders, if you come to me at my event, you have a lot of reach. But if another software engineer who has a great product, or like a guy who built an app, but he has no community, he has no reach and all these things, he's coming alone. But you bring 20 people. So I prefer to work with community leaders and, people who have a network than with people who just come by themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially you already have a big event, so you invite community leaders. But even if you do a small dinner, do it with a co-organizer.
Exactly.
And both invite the people.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you don't have 0 people. You guaranteed to have a coffee with the 2 of you.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I really also enjoy talking to you about it, We look at each other, we understand. And I really want that more people understand, because this is such a good strategy for your business.
Yeah.
And then you can systemize it, then you can speed it up. Because yes, it takes time, building trust and relationships, and you can speed up the process if you have a good funnel or strategy behind it to then offer value, funnel people somewhere, monetize it. Because if you just only build relationships and don't have anything to offer, it takes longer. Obviously.
Yeah, that's actually a very big takeaway from this conversation.
Yeah.
I noticed that everywhere you go,
Yeah.
like you have something, either an offer or something for people to say an easy yes to get into your funnel.
Exactly. An easy yes is very important. Just a WhatsApp group, an event, a free community. I grew here my mailing list already about 200 or so, I think. Yeah. It's not more.
Yeah. And like if it happens, like you got your payment links ready, you got your website, but you come to an event prepared to get people into your funnel somewhere.
Exactly. And then it doesn't have to be perfect, like I'm still building also other things that I should have done by now. But then still, like putting up a small event is relatively easy for me because I've done it now multiple times. So I can put it up like literally in 30 minutes. I put up an event that looks like super slick. Yeah. But do it. Funnel people somewhere. So because if you talk to someone who's interesting, then instead of sending your website that they scroll through and probably won't do anything, have something they can use now. Have something that they can get a taste of what you're doing, and then it's more likely that you will convert them in the future.
Yeah. Another little trick that I sometimes use is I do a paid event, but then for the people I personally meet, I give them a code to get a free ticket. So it's like they receive even extra value.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you don't have like people you didn't invite coming who like didn't invest, because then you never know the intention if they're serious. So that's a nice hybrid way as well.
That's how you can do it. I do that only with like then very influential people.
You have bigger high ticket events, right?
Yeah, exactly. So then, and I cannot give, like it costs also a lot what we're doing. So I cannot give it away always. But so let's say in your case, if you would bring 15 people or whatever, like I'm happy to give commissions and free room and I promote you, whatever, right? So and if I have 10 of those people, they bring me 150 people. Done. Yeah. You're happy, I'm happy, win-win.
Couple of partners.
Yeah, like out. You need to just, like I always say, like 5 strategic partners in a year, because you cannot even manage so many unless, you can have a partnership manager, but still to have good strategic partnerships, it's almost like having a business with someone, build those relationships really good, check what they're doing, what are you building now, how can we support each other, what event are you putting up, can I bring more people, can I speak for you, other way around, and then like you sell without selling. Other people sell for you. Yeah.
And with a lot of strategies added on top, it all circles back to you start with adding value.
Yeah.
That's what this whole conversation's been about.
Most important. Because all these, let's say, if you want to do business with someone, and if you look up to someone, or let's say all these speakers that we're talking about, people go to them and say, can you, write my foreword for my book or whatever. You ask something, right? These authors or these famous entrepreneurs, they added value to those people already, because these were following them. Like they learned already so much. So they already did give their value. But now you want to take more. You want them to give more value while you didn't add value. Yeah. So understand that they did the hard work. They added value. They worked their ass off for the last 10 years. And now you just want to come in and just get it. It's not how it works, So... yes, like show them what you can do, and then they want to work with you. Yeah.
Wow, we went very deep in this conversation about networking for founders.
Yeah. Like it's such a beautiful topic, because on the front end, let's say, it sounds boring. People, another networking thing. But there's so many layers behind. And if you understand it well, the principles, and how much fun you can have in it, this can be your biggest lead generator. It can bring you the most money. For me, my sales for my events and my community and everything I'm doing, 70% comes from events.
Yeah.
And not from ads. I'm running ads and stuff, but very little actually we sell. I do just more for exposure. And for the people who know me already, they see it, right? The 7 times. So you need to see, I see it everywhere. Then I'm coming. then it will be good. So, meeting the people, showing constantly up, having credibility, it brings me sales. So it's good. Yeah.
Very powerful.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
One question I'd like to close with.
Yes.
Where would you like to be in your life, in your business, 10 years from now?
Oh, 10 years? 10 years is a very, very good question. I do the 3 years actually, but 10 years, okay. In 10 years from now, I will shift the brand, the Nomad Escape, because I think I've outgrown it a little bit. So potentially the name will be different. The business model will be similar. So I want to have an introduction and network club. I want to have 10,000 high-level visionaries in it. I want to have a very strong database, and I have now the foundation, and that goes well. A database of people like yourself. You're growing massively. I see where it can be in a few years, and I have them in an early stage, plus people who are already very advanced. I have their information, and in 10 years from now, I can do next level, multi-million, billion-dollar introductions. That brings me to even a higher level that I'm operating in right now and creates me a lot of business opportunities. So for me, growing that community, growing that network, that's my number one. Yeah. Because from there, also, I do retreats for companies. I do for corporates. I got these, I have a 350,000 deal that I'm doing it next month, a company retreat for a company, which a budget is 350K. I got it from networking at the end, right? Because I built my credibility with doing events all around the world for remote founders and remote workers, let's say. So these companies thought, if she does it for individuals, for our corporation or for our company, for our team, she should be able to do that, right? So me building this foundation, all these events, and I always said, this is only the beginning. This is the foundation of what I'm building. And the funnel I have now, the top of funnel with my events and retreats and networking clubs, brings me to the big deals.
Yeah.
And where I can be fully in my zone of genius. I always say, I just want to be a socialite. I just want to butterfly around, go to cool events, meet the most brilliant people, love their story, and help them to get access to the right people faster. Yeah. And then I can be in my zone of genius. I add a lot of value. I don't have to do the physical work. And, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. And then everything, still I will have the products and the services that fall under it. Of course, my books, I have by then written multiple, international bestsellers. I do see myself on the stages where all the, the big guys are speaking now. I'm getting now the introductions. And my intention was never to be a speaker. My intention was never to be per se an entrepreneur. My genuine interest in people brought me here. My personal frustration of building an online business and becoming lonely made me do this. My personal frustration of ineffective conferences and events made me do this. So everything comes back. The core is my personal challenges led me to create solutions for people like me. And these solutions became so good that the level goes up and up and up and up. And it's inevitable for me to be in a very high-end market, and I'm heading towards that now. And it's just a beautiful journey to witness myself, to hear the feedback from other people. And I'm so excited to, in 10 years, have this conversation.
Yes.
We will have more wrinkles and all these things, but such great stories. And it can only happen by meeting the right people, going to the right places, and working every day on your mindset, on your skills, on mindfulness as well, because it can be stressful, this type of work. And then it's sky's the limit. I really believe in that. Yeah.
There are so many incredible lessons in what you shared.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. And that's what I want. I want to give value here. And I really hope that people feel empowered and come up to me. And it's already now daily on these events. And because of you, I started an event. am running a podcast business, for example. Now I'm doing my own events, or I partner up with Amsterdam Founders Club, right? Because of what you shared. And at the end of the day, it's helping people and having purpose. And for the last 4 years, I've been journaling every day, almost every day. And every day I wrote down what made me happy yesterday. And if I look back, it's always something with people. It's like having the conversation with Marcel in the hallway. I was laughing with Sylvia about the last retreat in Japan, or calling my mom, for example, right? And I saw that I could help her. For example, like I coach and help my own family a lot because they're struggling with a lot of things, with money and still repression and addiction. And I'm making a massive change in their life. My mom stopped using drugs after 40 years. After being at Nomad Island Fest. After seeing me on stage telling our story. And I say blunt, I was homeless. And my parents were addicted. And because of that, I get obsessed by building a different life. And she saw that, she cried, and she shifted her life. And being able to do that, that's for me the profits that I'm making. Yeah. The money, it's nice. And the money comes with the value that you offer. And the money is a tool, but also the result of the value that you offer. The value that you offer to people. But me being able to really shift someone's life on the smallest level to very influential people, I'm a happy girl. And it makes my heart warm and fulfilled. And that's the most important, beyond anything else or money. Yeah, that's what it is.
I can't think of a better way to end this episode.
Me neither.
It's very powerful.
yeah. It was also it's a topic close to my heart. I really love it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing so openly about everything. Really enjoyed having this conversation with you.
Yeah, thank you for providing this space and getting me on a Sunday early here. Well, we saw each other.
It was difficult for both of us.
A few hours ago, we were in that party dressed up, and now we're here. But no, I really enjoy. I enjoy talking to you. I enjoy seeing you grow. I enjoy learning from you as well. I have in my living room. Right? I texted you 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I have a whiteboard in Madeira Island. I host over 1,000 masterminds, hot seats for entrepreneurs, where we write down their strategy. And I happen to have yours still on the whiteboard of last year because I've been doing events in other countries. And I was looking in my storage and I saw this whiteboard and I read the strategies on it. It's like, I think most of it he's been doing. And I have it now in my living room because I wanted to write my own goals, but I didn't. And it's just standing there in my kitchen, Marcel's mastermind.
Yeah, leave it there, frame it.
But that showed me like a lot of strategies that you've been learning then, you've been implementing. Yeah. And look what you're doing now.
Yeah, you've really helped me shape the Amsterdam Founders Club, both with the strategy and also with the connections that I made for your events.
And that's what I want.
Yeah.
If I would die now, I die a happy girl because I could make impact on your business and on your life. And that's what I want. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you so much, Marcel. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you for listening to this episode about networking for founders with Michelle Maree. If you're interested in learning more about the Amsterdam Founders Club and the events and masterminds that we do, go to amsterdamfoundersclub.com. And if you'd like to learn more about upcoming episodes, subscribe to this podcast.